USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right, Duke fans, DBR Bites, episode number 107, the Duke Basketball Roundup. Jason Evans here with you. Donald Wine is also with me. How you doing today, Donald? It's around 3:30 on Thursday afternoon on the 29th of May. This is a different episode than we've ever done before, isn't it?
We have news. We have news that we can, share.
Yeah, we're gonna break some news here. This is not what Donald and I usually do, and frankly, a podcast is kind of a weird way to break news. Anyway, usually it's just like a website or something like that. But Donald and I can tell you, I will admit. First of all, we got an email about this from a listener who said he was hearing I believe he was at K Academy. K Academy is going on this week.
He was not a participant. He was not a participant, but he was, I guess, watching one of his friends or colleagues or whoever that's
right. Exactly. Yeah. And he heard a rumor about something, and Donald and I both went to our sources, went to the people that we could talk to who would know these kind of things. I will admit that Donald got it first, but shortly after Donald got it, I got it as well. We have from multiple different sources that Duke will very soon announce that Tyler Thornton is joining the staff as an assistant coach. There are other aspects of this, and Donald, we're not going to really get into some of the other stuff we heard related to this, but super excited to get Tiny Thor on the staff. Yeah.
Yeah. As we're talking, I can now confirm that contracts have been signed. So this is going to be very, very official. This is great. And the thing about it is, Jason, I've seen, if we go back to Tyler Thornton, right? He was at Duke. He was a graduate assistant at Marquette under Steve Wojciechowski. He has been an assistant coach at Howard since 2019, I want to say.
2019, yeah. I mean, 5+ years
Blakeney.
as an assistant coach, like 7+ years, working in programs. This is someone who's experienced. This is not just let's grab a name from the past, a great name from the past. This is not that. This is someone who is experienced and brings a lot of quality to the Duke bench.
And what's great about this is that I know that he has talked in years past about his desire when he got to Duke to be a basketball player, that he one day wanted to return to Durham to be a coach. So this is him living out a dream that has been something that he's been obviously working for a very long time. You don't take graduate management positions and assistant coaching positions if you don't want to be a head coach. That is eventually where you want to go, but it's also for him a chance to step up and be a part of the program that gave him life, right? The program that he played for to come back to his alma mater and coach under John Shire is incredible. And so I'm really glad that this is happening for him personally because of the fact that it is a lifelong dream of his. Now, that would be the second guy that we've added to the staff this offseason. You have Evan Brads, who replaced Jay Lucas earlier this month. So this is great. And after a couple of guys we've gotten into the program from outside of the walls of the Brotherhood, we now dip back into the Brotherhood to bring one of our beloved home.
Yeah, and look, I know that Tyler Thornton is not like a huge name in Duke circles. It's not like people, when I put something out on social media and said, hey, Donald and I are going to have this announcement about a change in the coaching staff coming up a little later today. And 90% of the replies are people saying, Quinn Cook, Quinn Cook, Quinn Cook. And then you get some Nolan Smiths in there. Someone said Shane Battier. These are big names. And Tyler Thornton is not a big name, but go back and look at what he did. First of all, he's a guy who improved every year he was in Durham. An outstanding defender. And Duke, we lost our defensive genius in Jay Lucas. And I sort of wonder if maybe Tyler's coming in to really help work on the defense for the Blue Devils, because he was an amazing defensive player for Duke. But the biggest thing to me is guy was a leader. Even though he wasn't a big name player, even though he mostly started late in his career, but not like a automatic starter, he was a team captain. He was someone that Coach K said, we need the right voice guiding these guys, and Tyler Thornton is the right voice. That's really meaningful to me. And I think it shows you, a lot of what Tyler Thornton's going to bring to the table for Duke as an assistant coach. And it's worth noting that, of course, John knows him very well, because John Shire was an assistant coach by the time Tyler Thornton was playing at Duke. So these guys have a relationship going way back.
Yeah, and they even before that, John Shire graduated, and then Tyler Thornton came in that class of 2010 with Josh Hairston and, of course, Kyrie Irving. So this is, again, living out a dream of him being able to come back to Duke, be a coach. I believe he's down at K Academy right now, which is why the buzz started.
Yes,
he
exactly.
Came down specifically to get this done. And I think it's funny that the K Academy kind of rumor mill led to some of these guys, because Jason, all those guys you mentioned are all at K Academy because everyone's there except for the two of us, apparently. So
I heard, by the way, I heard a Ryan Kelly rumor. Ryan Kelly went with the team went, not all the K Academy teams, but next year's team, all the guys other than Sar, who's not in town yet. Very understandable for an international guy to not be there yet. And he only very recently committed. Other than Sar, everybody else in the team is in town, and they all went to a Carolina Hurricanes game, and Ryan Kelly was with them at the game. And people were like, oh, the new assistant coach must be Ryan Kelly because he was with the team. It's like, yeah. Instead, it's Tyler Thornton.
I renewed. This is my annual plea to anybody. If someone would like to sponsor me at next year's K Academy, dbrpodcast@gmail.com. I don't expect anyone to email in that regard. And I probably would not take you up on that offer anyway, because that is a lot of money to be putting into little old me to probably tear my hamstring in the first jump ball.
In any event, we are just thrilled for Tyler. I will reach out to the Duke Sports Information Office. I already reached out to them to see if they could confirm this story for us, and they had no comment. But I will reach out to them and see if it's possible to get Tyler as a guest on this podcast. We'd love to chat with him about his journey that is now taking him to Durham. It's really, really exciting. I want to stress, by the way, none of this is confirmed. I guess, Donald, it's possible we're wrong, but we've got a lot at this point. We got a lot of sources telling us. Yeah. We got a lot of folks telling us that this is what's happening. So
let me say this. If it's wrong, something bad happened. I'll just say that.
There you go. All right. With that, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we got some news from the ACC yesterday. They have released the schedule, not when the games are played, but who each team is playing. We're going to dive into that very briefly on the other side. Stay with us.
Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. The meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, and most importantly, they fill you up and they're delicious.
Yeah, and this is the perfect time of year to get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss.
It's time to get started at factormeals.com/DukeBB50off and use that code DukeBB50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code DukeBB50off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
I found a kid who swings a golf club like a dream. I'd like to try to qualify him for the U.S. Amateurs.
Coming to Apple TV Plus.
What's your name?
I'm not into older guys, but I'm flattered.
A new comedy series, Stick.
I don't want to go on this trip.
Your mouth's saying one thing, but those eyes are saying something else.
From the home of Ted Lasso.
This is your shot at redemption? This is your mulligan?
Owen Wilson.
This game takes and it takes. The game's finally giving me something back.
Stick.
You know Arnold Palmer?
Iced tea, lemonade, mix it.
I'm missing a nap for this.
Streaming June 4th on Apple TV Plus.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
All right, Donald, we're back from the break, and the ACC has announced next year, the 25-26 season, an 18-game schedule for all ACC teams. No more 20-game schedule, 18-game schedule, and there are going to be 2 teams that you play twice. And they already announced the primary partners, Duke and UNC. No surprise there that we learned that a few weeks ago. But they announced sort of the variable partner, as they call it, and Duke has gotten Louisville. So we'll be playing the Louisville Cardinals twice this year. Clearly an intentional move on the part of the ACC. I don't know with anyone's blessing with John Shire, who knows what, but Duke and Louisville are seen as 1 and 1A in the conference this year. They want to make sure that the top 2 teams get to play each other home and home. So there's no debate. There's no thing like if we played at Louisville and Louisville won that game, we might go, this is not fair. We don't get we don't get a return shot at them. Now each team gets equal shots at each other among the 2 teams that are widely expected to be the 2 best teams in the conference.
Yeah, and of course we get UNC, so there will be no excuse, right? If we are able to win the conference, there was going to be no, I wish they had done this, or I wish this other team had played that team. There will be no doubt with our schedule that we have in a non-conference that we've already loaded up. And of course, there's probably a couple more games left to fill in that regard. You have this schedule, which is, we look through it, Jason. It's easily the most difficult of the schedules in the ACC.
Oh, yeah.
With regards to not even close. So for that to be the case, and again, I'm sure John Shire is probably like, okay, they want to stick us with this, fine. But he's also, he's John Shire. He ducks nothing. And he's going to use this for his team to say, hey, even the ACC is not going to give us a break this year. So let's go out and take the ACC like we did last year.
Well, and look, in addition to Louisville and North Carolina, who we play home and home with, The other team that everyone sort of seems to be buzzing about, the team that I think probably will get picked third or fourth in the conference in the preseason, is NC State. We're playing them on the road. If you look at like Duke's home and road splits, we're playing most of the better teams on the road and most of the worst teams at home. Other than we got Clemson at home, SMU at home, Syracuse. Those teams might be pretty good. But the other interesting thing then about the schedule, Donald, is because you have two home and home partners, there's one team you don't play, and full well Duke will not be playing Miami this year. Jay Lucas, I think, gets a real break in his schedule his first year at Miami because he doesn't play Duke at all. And his home and home partners are BC and Florida State. Miami may be like a trendy, like 5th, 6th in the ACC kind of pick with that kind of schedule.
Well, first of all, the Wine Bowl, not happening next year. Crisis averted. You don't have to ask me the questions of Donald, who are you going to root for in this game? I get a full year reprieve from that. So congratulations to me and me only. But also when it comes to Miami, Jason, they are going to be vastly improved. Yes, there's nowhere to go but up from what they did last year. But the fact is, you mentioned them being a team that could be viewed as in the top half of this conference. The only kind of reprieve from the schedule that we get is that we don't have to face that team, whether it's home or the road. But when you talk about the road games, you mentioned NC State, going to be very much a difficult team to go play. And we always hate playing in Raleigh because it's usually pretty difficult for us to play there. Notre Dame, one of the best recruiting classes in the country. They're going to be a tough out. Pitt, obviously, Jeff Capel is going to be really wanting to get after us. That is a tough out. We are going to have to go to California for games against Cal and Stanford. They came to Cameron last year. We go over there this year. And then Virginia Tech, Castle Coliseum, again, a place that traditionally we have difficulty playing there consistently. So we're going to have these chances to really boost our profile and really have these difficult games and be tested every single week. That's what John Shire wants. He doesn't want this ACC schedule to be one where we're kind of having a lull. And now, of course, we don't know when these games are going to be, except for the fact that the UNC game will be the last game of the year, and there will be some time in February. Other than that, we could have a couple weeks here where there's a murderer's row of teams waiting for us. And, oh, yeah, we have this game here in D.C. against Michigan at the end of February that's going to factor into that.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy schedule. And John Shire does not want an easy schedule. And, Donald, if we can move away from the ACC for a moment, just one quick parting thought I wanted to make about all this. One of the reasons it's not going to be an easy schedule is because college basketball is loaded with talent for next year. The final numbers have come in from the NBA about how many players are staying in the draft, how many players with eligibility have chosen to remain in the NBA draft. And the number is 106. That's the lowest number of early entrants in the NBA draft since 2015. Back in 2021, right before NIL came into play, Donald, we were looking at 360 early entry players in the NBA draft, which is ridiculous. There are only 60 draft picks. But there were 360
this year. 59
right,
this year.
Yeah. But there were 360 guys who said, I'm taking my shot. For that number to now be, not even 20% of what it was is, it's about 20, it's close to 30%. Sorry, I'm doing my math bad. But in any event, for there only to be 106 players entering the draft this year, it shows you how much guys are coming back to college. And we have seen a number of teams, Auburn, Michigan, Oregon, San Diego. I've just seen Kentucky. Oh my gosh, Kentucky.
Houston.
Just teams across the board. Alabama as well, who have gotten players back where you're like, I thought that guy was staying in the draft.
Houston, Florida, same thing.
Yes. I mean, like we're naming all the top 10 teams that were already in the top 10. And they've got a guy who was like, yeah, he might be a first rounder. He's certainly a second rounder. And that guy's like, nope, I'm coming back to college. We forgot one. Duke. We got Slim back. Yeah. Right. Yes, we did get Slim back. Yes. But I'm talking about guys who just decided in the past few days. It really changes your complexion of the talent level that we're going to see in college basketball this coming season. And I think it's good for the game. There's no question about it that it's good for the game. It may be harder on Duke. Our opponents are going to be better. Michigan got a big man who's just really, really good that we're going to have to deal with. And I think it's likely we're going to play like a Florida or an Auburn or an Alabama in the ACC SEC Challenge. All three of those teams brought back guys who are like fringe first rounders who are really impressive players. Donald, it's just an interesting change in the transition from college to the NBA.
Well, NIL has a lot to do with it, right? The fact that you can make, in some of these guys' cases, you're going to make 2 or 3 times more next year than you would in your first contract if you were drafted into the NBA. And a lot of these guys probably don't want to take the risk of not being drafted, ending up in either the G League or in Europe, where they would have made less money. And yes, I know it's about the future contracts, but at least in this case, some of these guys are thinking, hey, I have a good situation over here at my college or this college that I'm transferring to. I have a better situation here for this year than I do. And this could also set me up for that future contract in the NBA if I have a good year here. So some of those fringe first rounders, you saw a lot of the same kind of statements from them. I want to improve my stock so I can become a surefire first rounder next year, right? So there's a lot of guys in this draft too, especially, which is considered pretty deep. At least as far as first round talent, it's considered pretty deep. A lot of those guys are saying, let me just wait a year because then those guys will be gone. And sure, there's still some great talent coming up behind us, but it's not viewed as deep as this year's was. And maybe I have a better shot at getting that first round contract.
Well, for somebody like Todd Pettiford, who's a guy who came back to Auburn, probably would have been a late first round pick. He's coming back because he thinks I can play my way into being a lottery pick. Sort of the same. It's not entirely different from Isaiah Evans's decision, who probably, I think Isaiah Evans would have unquestionably been drafted probably, early mid second round. He was unproven, but he's like, I'm going to come back, prove that it's for real. And then I can, I can look at the lottery at that point. It makes a lot of sense if you play well.
Yeah. Also, in the case of Isaiah Evans, I know we've hashed this out before. Isaiah Evans, the guy off the bench who was a streaky shooter, but when he was on, and Showtime Slim was awesome. That is what he was going to be presented to the NBA as this year. Next year, it could be presented as Isaiah Evans, scorer, second option, one of the leaders of a team that could, as we hope, could contend for a national championship. That is a much different scenario for him, especially. And that scenario that we could be in this time next year could mean 20 more places up in the draft order for him. And again, with all that comes with a better situation, a better opportunity to play and thrive in the NBA. And yes, the money will come with that as well. But I think a lot of these guys are, the fact that they have agents now, they get that information, and the agent can say, hey, look, this deal is cool, but this deal might be better. So consider that option. And yes, the NBA is where you want to be. Maybe a year deferred is going to get you there in a better situation, in a better position.
Yeah, exactly. All right, look, with that, we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to get this episode out as quickly as possible because we know a lot of you out there are like, ooh, I wonder who the new assistant coach is. It is Tyler Thornton. We are so excited to be able to be the ones to bring that news to you. He is Donald. I am Jason. We have sources. Here's the Duke Band playing us out and taking us home.